The past couple of years, the focus has largely been around Gannon Air Force Base and Clovis and Holloman Air Force Base outside of Alamogordo. If I understand correctly, this study is taking a broader view of looking around the state. Can you describe sort of geographically where these sampling locations are to start with?
Sure. Yeah, this really does represent an important concrete shift for the department to more proactive work on the topic of PFAS, which is really exciting for us. It's still incredibly important that we carry out and continue our work to address the PFAS contamination that is well known at Department of Defense facilities in our state. So that is very much still a focus and ongoing, but here we are able to be more proactive in finding out more on our own about where PFAS may be. So we've selected sites around the state in 16 counties, and there are a number of, as I said before, locations where we're testing groundwater sources, and then a number of locations where we're testing surface water. And it really does cover a large portion of the state with different sampling sites around the state, with some emphasis in areas where we know that there are potential sources of PFAS. There's been a lot of research and study, a lot of other states and federal agencies doing analysis for a number of years about where does PFAS come from? Like if it shows up in our water, where might it be coming from? And so we were able to do some analysis of the types of industrial activities that can be associated with PFAS, and then make some strategic decisions about where to best deploy our limited sampling resources as a starting point.
And in New Mexico, in addition to military installations, what are some of the businesses or industries where you're maybe looking at a little more closely?
Well, and we're looking at places nearby certain types of industries, not targeting particular businesses or industrial plants themselves. So in terms of what those sectors are that are indicators that we might want to test for PFAS in the water, that includes electroplating, and there's a well-known association with PFAS for nonstick pan manufacturing, those types of things that are nonstick, fireproof materials. So it's common for us to be looking around any places that might deploy firefighting materials on a routine basis: airports, fire departments, fire station training facilities, things like that.
So as these sampling results have been coming in, are there spots in New Mexico where you're seeing PFAS detected in water sources?
So that's a great question. And this is what we're announcing this week is our first collection of new data from a number of different sources. And we tested for over 20 different PFAS contaminants for which there are approved analytical methods to look for the chemicals in the lab. And good news is we haven't found anything that's alarming to us from a public health standpoint at this stage. We're going to put all the data, it's going to be available to the public on our website, and we'll be here to answer questions if people have concerns. And we've sent letters to each of the public water systems that are associated with one of our test sites so that they can become more familiar with what we looked for and what we found. We did find in some of our sampling sites low levels of PFOA and PFOS, two of the most commonly talked about PFAS chemicals. Nothing anywhere near what is the current EPA lifetime health advisory of 70 parts per trillion. And then for some other the PFAS chemicals, we saw some results in both the surface water and the groundwater. And again, at this point, we're very pleased to see that so far we're learning a lot, but we're also not seeing anything to cause us a lot of concern or alarm. It's going to help us do better work going forward to have as much data as we possibly can as well.
So in sort of the next phases of the studies, are there certain places that you'll focus on more intensely, or how will the next phases go?
Well, it's there as we move forward, we sort of at the beginning of the study identified what we were hoping to cover throughout the course of the study as we continue to do more sampling over time. So we've identified the sites around the state, again, both groundwater and surface water, that our sampling team, which includes the U.S. Geological Survey, that's helping with the actual collection and analysis of the samples. They'll be getting out in many of the same counties that we've been to so far, but at additional locations, and providing more data over more coverage across the state as we go forward.
So one of the things that we often struggle with is not wanting to alarm people about toxic chemicals in their water supplies, but also not in any way wanting to diminish the fact that there are public health risks to exposure to PFAS. And I'm curious how the department balances that, especially in an arid state like New Mexico, where not just drinking water, but any type of water is really important to the state and to the state's sustainable future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I run the water protection division, so we're thinking about water quality across so many different issues and angles, and we are every day trying to identify, address, remediate, and hold people accountable for contamination where we have it, including but absolutely not limited to PFAS. And we don't want to take anything for granted with our water resources in the state. It's partly why we continue to raise externally, Secretary Kenny, our cabinet secretary, and others, how important it is that we give the state a chance to tackle water quality in every way we possibly can, by making sure that we're putting enough resources to these critical issues. And right now we are having to make really tough choices at the department of how many people can we have thinking about and working on PFAS, because then we aren't tackling maybe other types of contamination, other sources of water quality concerns. Maybe we're having to pull back other types of water quality monitoring in the field because we're ramping up in other areas. We're making those kinds of tough choices every day, and that limits our ability to really tackle all of the problems as cohesively and comprehensively as we'd like to.
Thank you, Rebecca, so much for joining me. I appreciate your work.
Thank you so much, Laura. It's been a pleasure to talk with you.